Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Nick, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about how my breeding season so far has been going and kind of talk about the method that I'm doing this year and things like that. So let's get right into it. Alright, before we get into the video, I do want to remind everybody that we're still doing our giveaway. We're still giving away 2 Taste of Rainbow packages as soon as we hit 1,500 subscribers. Links in the description. Go like, subscribe to us and Pangea on Instagram and YouTube, and comment something down below that you like about Pangea, and then you're entered, and then hopefully we hit that fairly soon, and then we can give away more cool stuff in the future. But let's get into the video for real this time. Alright, so I guess to start the video, when we're talking about how many eggs I got and things like that, I guess what I'll do first is kind of talk about this year. I went with a different strategy. So in previous years, what I've done is I've kind of cohabbed, and I would just kind of cohab for the season, and then I would separate in the winter is what I did, and that way the geckos were kind of living together for probably 8 months out of the year, 9 months or so, 3 months off, and then I would repair. But then this year I decided instead what I'm going to do is we have all these separate tubs now, so we ended up housing all of our animals separately. I did a video on that as well, and that was just something that made it easier for me. Once you get to a certain amount, it makes it easier to kind of house everything separately, in my opinion, because it can become overwhelming, and if you don't know what to look for when you're cohabbing, it can be very difficult. Not to say cohab can't happen. For me, it was just not the right avenue anymore, and it was something that I'm just kind of like, I just want to get away from personally. What we were doing was, at the beginning of the season, I was taking my male and I put him with one female for 3 to 7 days, take him out, and I put him with another female for 3 to 7 days, take him out, put him with another female 3 to 7 days, so on and so forth. The average male, we really only have 2 males breeding now this year, and they're responsible for about 10 or 11 females, I think. Yeah, they're responsible for about 9 females at the moment, split between the 2 of them. And so then what I did was I kind of put like a 3-to-1 ratio in one of our big tubs, which is the equivalent of a 30-gallon tank, and we did that for 3 days. And in my mind, doing it that way, I was seeing kind of more successful locks because it was a smaller space. They were 3 females to the 1 male, and that gave him the opportunity to kind of, wherever he was, I knew that he was kind of going to lock with somebody. Instead of, if it's just 1-to-1 in there, then maybe they could get away, and there's a lot of hiding spots in these tubs, of course, and things like that. So kind of want to make sure they locked without having to necessarily make a breeding tub. I don't do a breeding tub. If they lock when they see each other and it's kind of over after that, then I'll probably separate at that point, but that's only happened a couple times. I don't like to separate them into a breeding tub simply because I like them to be comfortable. I've done it both ways. I've put the male with the female, I've put the female with the male. I don't really notice any difference at all. I know that some people are worried that if you put the female with the male, he'll be a lot more aggressive and a lot more territorial. I haven't noticed that, honestly, really at all. I think it really just depends gecko to gecko. Try to figure out your gecko and see how they react to things best, and kind of go with things that way rather than just, you know, putting a blanket statement on anything that these guys do. That's just my opinion. We put these groups in there, and I noticed that worked out a lot better than putting the male in each female's tub for about a week. And there's kind of, the one reason I just described is he had a better range of, you know, he could probably mate with 2 or 3 females at that moment instead of only mating with 1. So it kind of utilized my time and his time better. Now the other thing too is, I found that when I was moving them from tub to tub to tub, I was worried that they weren't eating as much because they were kind of in mate mode constantly. So what I'm doing is I'm taking them, I'm putting them in a new environment, and I'm saying, go mate. I don't really like that because one, he has to get accustomed to the environment, then he has to decide he's going to mate, and then he's going to think about eating after all that. So what I ended up doing was, now we really only are breeding like once a month, maybe once a month, less than that now, and I'll kind of explain why. But we were doing about once a month where I'd pair him up with 3 females in a tank, and then the next week or 2 weeks after that, I'd pair him up with another 3 females in another tank. Just if he had 5 females or whatever, then I would do that. So that just kind of helped me kick off the season. Now, one thing I will say is, we, to this point, have had incredibly less production from our females compared to when they were cohabbed. Okay, so when they were cohabbed last year, it was pretty much every 30 to 35 days, guaranteed 2 eggs. Without a doubt, starting, I mean, last year our season pretty much started in like February. Like we paired in February and we had eggs in March. This year was totally different because I took this new approach, and we really, for the first time, I mean, we're in May. Yeah, so I'm filming this on Memorial Day. So May 31st. So, and I just found, what I'm about to show you guys, I found all this last week. So we're end of May, early June now, and we had really no eggs. I mean, we had a couple eggs, but really like not like it was before, where if I have 15 females breeding, I had 30 eggs a month before. For March, April, and then I didn't dig again until the end of May. But for March and April, we found, I think, maybe like 6 eggs a month total. And that's because, I think that is because I wasn't, I think when you cohab and you have them all together, I think the males are mating them so often, and the females are in a mindset at that point where they're triggered to just produce, which I'm not saying that's good, I'm not saying that's bad. I really don't care how other people choose to do it. They're your animals. It's up to you. I really don't care. This works best for me, and I kind of do enjoy this because now it's easier for me to go like, I'm giving this female the season off, and then this female's, I'm gonna breed these, and I think I'll kind of come up with better systems as we go. Now this is something that I think that I kind of picked up on this from like Facebook groups and talking to other breeders and listening to other breeders, and this was kind of the style that I did. So I'd be very interested to hear that other people, if they do this style, how it's worked for them or how it hasn't worked for them. But so far, I wouldn't call it like a roaring success, but honestly, I think it's enough for what we do here. And it's, I mean, I breed for the hobby. I don't like do this for like a ton of money or anything. I do it because I like it. So if my females don't produce every month, it's really not the end of the world to me, and it really doesn't like affect me one way or the other. I do get in my head because I'm like, oh my god, are they eating enough? Am I giving enough crickets? Are they, you know, this and this? And I kind of freak myself out because I'm used to every month laying. To whereas now, like I said, we're really, it seems like some of the females are taking 45 days to lay. You know, they're on the far end of that cycle, if you will. And I'm fine with it. The geckos all seem happy, healthy. They're eating, you know, they all live alone. So like it really, I mean, like I said, I'm totally cool with it. And I think probably too I'm cool with it because we just found these, and that's just what I'm going to show you. Okay, so here's all the eggs that we found. Aside from these two were laid a very, these are probably going on 45 days old or so these were last month's. And then these here, no, sorry, these are probably getting close to hatching, honestly. These are probably in the 50 to 60 day range. These right here, you can see there's a bit of this is what the calcium issues kind of look like if this happens. These eggs don't look good. Now, this isn't uncommon for like the first egg of the season or anything like that to be somewhat bad. I'm sure that, if I remember correctly, this egg is from a female who was a first-time breeder this year. So I don't think that's why I wasn't too worried about it. But anyway, the rest of these eggs, which we got 16 in total, all right here, these were all new. I mean, you know, we found all of them. I label them by parent and who the dad is and who the mom is, just so we kind of know. We had 2 bad eggs, but other than that, everyone laid, and everyone laid, you know, good. I candled all of them, and they're all fertile, so that's good. So that kind of tells me that the way that I'm wanting to breed now is somewhat working, and that, you know, maybe the females don't need to be bred every month. Maybe, you know, I'm just gonna keep candling them. If I see the veins getting weaker, then I'll repair them. We'll just see how long they can retain. I know some people say 2 years. I think that it's, once again, it's gecko by gecko, but for the most part, like, as they use that retained sperm, the eggs will get weaker and weaker because they're not gonna have enough sperm to like really fertilize the egg completely. So even if they could handle for 2 years, I bet that last year those eggs would be 50-50 on if they hatch, but I don't really know. Some geckos can retain, some can't. which is kind of funny that I say that because in here we have Big Bertha's right here. Right here we have Big Bertha's. Now her eggs were a little not as strong of veins as I would have liked, so I kind of repaired her this last time because they weren't as strong as I would have hoped. But all the other eggs were very strong, so I'm wondering if she hasn't been paired since last year or successfully locked since last year. So it'll be very interesting to see if these babies come out as Mr. Butterworth's, who we paired her to this year, or if they come out as Wayland's, who we paired her to last year. And hopefully I'll be able to tell based on if they're spots or not. And one thing that I did decide to do was I did decide to give Donna the year off, which I'll see if I can find her. So this is Donna. We ended up giving her the year off. Now, I say this because she is still laying fertile eggs for us from last year, but she has not been, oops, sorry girlie, she's not been paired this year. So I kind of have my own little test subject on how long the sperm retention will last. And I mean, so far she hasn't been paired since last probably, I think I separated them last October or September. It might have even been September, honestly. Yeah, it probably was September. So she's been retaining now for 9 months. So I'm saying, I think it's going to vary gecko to gecko. And I'll be interested too, because I think next year we're going to end up giving a lot of our females a break because they've been going for 2 or 3 years in a row now. And I just kind of want to, I'll give them a break in the sense of I'm not going to really repair them next year. I'm just going to kind of let them go. I'm sure they're still going to lay fertile eggs, but I'm not going to pair them until the following year. And we'll just kind of see. But I do really like this style because for some reason, mentally in my head, if they're only laying every month and a half, you know, in my mind, I'm looking at it like, what do you see? In my mind, I'm looking at it like it's almost easier on them to lay infrequently. But we will see, you know, I'm going to see how long she retains for, and it'll be very just interesting for channel's sake just to know this information. But we got a lot of cool babies hopefully hatching soon. We've had a few hatch this year, like I said. We had some staggered babies where like, we had some late eggs from last year. You know, we had some that just hatched in April. So those were eggs that would have been laid in January, which I didn't pair in January. So those were still the year before's eggs, which isn't a big deal. So, yeah. That's going to wrap up the video, guys. If you have any questions on how I'm doing this season, comment down below. If you want to see further videos on how I'm doing this season, or how I'm breeding this season and things like that, just kind of what I'm experiencing, comment anything like that down below because I'd like to interact with you guys. But until next time, guys, stay safe and stay positive.